Moonlight to all. There's the pros and cons to not picking your own fruits and veggies, of course. But it sometimes is convenient for whatever reason you have. And so I want to talk about that really quick, that knowing that is true, that you should pick your own veggies and fruits. But again, for whatever conveniences you, so be it. If that means someone's picking it for you and delivering it, fine. We have busy lives, right? Some of us may work 12 hours. So it may be convenient for it to be delivered first thing in the morning, right? When we get off, or before we're going to work. Right. So I received some heirloom tomatoes, right? Which are the best when it comes to the original. If you know, you know. And I opened the bag to see that some of the tomatoes had mold on it. Not just spoilage, like literal mold. Furry, fuzzy stuff on it. Things that you tend to see with fruits and veggies after a few days. Not even several, just a few days. If you're lucky, right? If you, let's say, check them before you take them from the store, because they're in the stores moldy as well, right? And strawberries and raspberries, and you always have to check them, because there's always a few that may be moldy, and no one wants to eat mold. I'm sure we've all ate mold before, but it's not something that we want to eat. But it comes with it, right? It comes with the decaying of natural things, I suppose. Mold forms. So I wanted to bring this to attention, that regardless whether you're picking your food, someone's picking it for you, regardless, the simple fact of it is, it shouldn't be in stores, okay? You should be able to just pluck it, pick it from your yard. That's it. That's all I'm saying. Because it could save people money, time. It could save the fruit from molding, decaying. Lord knows how long those tomatoes are sitting there. Lord knows what has been sprayed on them for them to be carried from the south to the west to the north, if they're even from the States. You find that certain foods are from different countries, and you're just like, how? How did it last this long? That's what I'm saying. That, yeah, pick your own stuff. That's not my point. My point is, if they would leave our fruits and veggies alone, Primarily those, because those are like, those decay quicker, you know? They dry up quicker, you know? That is sort of the essential thing of the fruit, you know. It's hydration. It's what's keeping it like live, you know, fruits and veggies. Once it's plucked, you're detaching it from its source, like a umbilical cord. You no longer receive the nutrients. That's life. Anything that doesn't have a source, an umbilical cord, is fake. Right? You you pull up a, well, the best way to do it is pull up a flower by, you know, with its roots. But, you know, and then, you know, if you want to move it around, then you move it around and you put it back in the ground. But, you know, some people pick flowers, and so once you pick them, what's left? What are you leaving behind? The roots. The roots is what's feeding them the nutrients. That's what made them grow. They were rooted and they sprouted. So when we, you know, pluck certain things or we pick flowers, they're gonna die eventually, very quickly at that, because it's nature, it's natural, and that's just the way God created it, to be temporary, to admire and cherish, and to use and love nature. But once you take from her, and hopefully taking from her is for the good of you, right? To eat it, to use it, not to waste it, not to abuse it. That's the meaning behind it, not to take from it and then waste it. You know, because once you take from it, it will waste away regardless. So what's the point of taking from it if you weren't going to use it? And so people take from nature for whatever intent. And in this situation, they've taken from nature to clone her when there's only one her, you know? They've taken from her to supply themselves with riches off of the back of her, you know, off of her wound. They profit off of her children, right? They profit off of her fruits, what she bears. And now you find it in supermarkets and we buy them. And then you find that the strawberries, this tomato is rotten. It's rotting. You just got it yesterday. You just got it this morning. It has mold on it. It's not really about whether someone picks it for you or you pick it. There's still the root of it. What's the root of the issue? That it's in a place that it shouldn't be. If I wanted strawberries, if I wanted tomato, all I had to do was go into my yard and I would take one at a time, because I can only eat one, I can only eat one at a time. You know, this juicy tomato, this fruit, I'm enjoying. And if I want another one, I'll go there and I'll get another one. That's it. But these things, when you find them in stores, do you find any roots? Do you find any life source? No, they're just sitting there, drying up under artificial lighting. And again, sprayed with so many different poisons to keep it in this state. So many hands are contaminating it. How many times, you don't know if it's been dropped on the floor, from traveling here and there. They may rinse them off. What if they do that? Because you find certain fruits or veggies where there's dirt on them, like broccoli. You find little sticks, so it's like you find that it literally just came from whatever farm or wherever it came from. And it's just like, why couldn't I just pick it myself? Dang. Now you got people saying you got to be your own farmers. You got to be your own, healer. And it's like, we know that. And, it's not as easy as you say it is, Where are you buying your seeds? What sort of seeds are you buying? Are these genetic modified seeds? Because that's not real neither. But is it better than having to go to the store? Possibly, because they're all genetically modified stuff, right? Am I even able to dig into this yard? Would that even be acceptable? Right? So now you got to buy your own land, and you need money for that, because nothing's free. There's a problem with that. So I'm sure everyone would want to be their own healer, or want to have their own land and, farm and have their own agriculture, But please, okay? Because we need to get to the root of this. My father bared these fruits. We didn't have to use seeds. We didn't have to garden. We didn't have to dig into the ground. We did not have to pay for seeds, wherever you're getting these things. Because I'm sure once you're farming, the governor, whoever, the master of this world, he still checks your farm. Especially if you're going to, I don't know. You tell us, right? Because you know more. Bearing fruit, allowing her to bear fruit. Leave her alone then. Leave her alone, so you won't have to hear someone say, buy your own land, grow your own food. You shouldn't have to grow your own food when Mother Nature produces these things. Stop telling us, and instead tell the people that are destroying her. We need to get to the root of it. I get it, brother. I get it. I get what you're saying. But that's not the root of the issue. You wouldn't have to garden. You wouldn't have to have your own land to produce your own food. And to think that's organic. The only organic, the mother of organic is the mother. And the mother does not need no one. She bears her own fruits in her time when she's ready. When she's ready to give birth, she bears. And that baby comes through, right? Those fruits, those seeds. Do you see God in that? Do you see God in nature, in naturality? Do you see how God puts it in us to put it in nature? We're nature. We should know these things. We should see ourselves to see them in me and me and them. When you look at Mother Nature, you should see a woman. Mother bears, woman bear fruit, bear seed. And from that, the world is what? Fruitful. The world is what? Nourished. You know, the root is stop touching her, right? She's not a prostitute. Mother Nature is not a prostitute. Do not touch my mother. She's only here to care for us. Why are you abusing her? So don't tell me that I should garden, I should plant my own food and things. No, you tell Satan that. You tell the ruler that. You tell your mayors and your governors, the people that have the power to shut these things down. How about they do that? How about they use their power to stop cutting down these trees? Because do you know that in order for these fruits and veggies, the insects, right? The bees and all that, do you know that's how it's made? Do you see how it all comes together? We need each other. We need the insects, we need it. We need the pollination. We need it. And every time you cut down these trees, something's going extinct. Something's losing its home. And then there's the domino effect. All you had to do was let it be, right? Just let me be. Let the nature be. Leave it alone. There's nothing wrong with it. But unfortunately, we're in a world, in a system where they want control over you. And you know it as the Matrix. But hear it from Ali. Okay? And how I explain these things. It's the same message. But understand it, okay? They want control. And this is how they control it. You're not crazy. I get it. Life has become a sacrifice. Life has become where now you got to be your own gardener. But you don't if they just leave her alone. You don't even have to water her. Leave her alone. God provides for her. He says, I provide for all the things in the world. So how do you think that, how much more will I provide for you? He provides for the fowls in the sky. How much more do you think he'll provide for you? You're his child. That's a verse, isn't it? All they had to do was leave her alone. Just like all they had to do was leave his children alone. But they don't. Because this is the system, and this is where we are captives. This is not where our leader is. This is not where our master, our Lord is. This is the will we're under. This is the system we're in. In order to understand everything, why this, why that, understand where you're at. Maybe the movie's been trying to tell you. Maybe the Bible's trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you. You're going to complain every day because you don't understand. One day you'll come to understand, and then you'll roar on this mountain and remind the world of it. You're not complaining. You're telling the truth about it. Those are two different things. It's not that I'm complaining to where I don't understand. No, I understand completely. And I know that you're against us. And I know this is disgusting. I know this isn't right. And I'm going to tell the world of it. I'm going to expose it. That's the difference. We have to expose their wicked deeds. Now, do you understand that verse very clearly? Do you understand God now so intimately when he says that you come into this world to expose their wicked deeds? You're coming into a world that you got to expose their wicked deeds. And you've not known the world yet. You've not known the people and the things in the world, but you have come to know it. You have been born here among them. You are not of them, but you are among them. The world will hate you because on behalf of who I am and who I am to you. Right? This is all the things that the Bible speaks. But the Bible is so wrong, though. The Bible just so, no. No. No, 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 no. Mm-mm. If you know, you know. If you're that person in the world, if you're of him, then you know exactly what it means because it talks about you. You start to really understand, you start to really become these scriptures. And that's the intimateness. That's where you become so intimate with him because it's like, I become this version where now I expose the truth. I expose it. And it's not because I wanted to, it's because it just is. Like, you come in the world to see that the world is upside down. I didn't choose for it to be. It's prophecy. God had said that these things was going to happen. And I just happen to open my eyes and see that it's happening. And I have no choice but to say it's true. I have no choice but to say to God, you were right. You didn't want him to be right. You didn't want to see the world to see. You didn't want to believe these things, right? The things that he may have told us, right? The world is dark. You'd be like, no, no way, no way. He's like, yeah, they're doing abominable things. I said, no way. He said, yeah, but you'll come to see. And then you'll testify to me. You'll come to understand. So again, I don't choose. I have no choice. It's just true. So then now at 31, I open a book and I read that verse again. And I say, nah, it's come true. I have no choice but to expose the wicked deeds that they do because they do wicked deeds. I mean, no one asked them to. But since they are, I have to. Leave his children alone. But there's that verse. He says he is after the children of God. And then you see how it's so intimate because you see how the whole world is after you. So you find out that everyone before this verse, before you read this verse, you believed, there we go. You believed that everyone was children of God, right? So sincere and good-hearted. You thought that everyone that said they were children of God was children of God, right? That's our milk, right? That was where our spiritual maturity was. We just thought everyone was because you're right, we don't know yet. We don't know. So we just believe. And so then when you read that verse at the age that I am now, right, 31, that Satan is after the children of God, you read that verse very intimately because then you start to confess, Father, they're after the black sheep. They're after a few. They're after someone like me. And there's only a few of us out here. When everyone does plead and speak of your name, everyone says that they're children of God, as they always have through generations. You now start to speak to him so intimately. You start to speak to him right on. Like you're just, everything is like exactly right. Because now you're understanding these verses very clearly of who you are in the world. Even though the world will twist and flip and shake you to confuse you. Like, I'm a child of God, I'm a child of God. No, I'm a child of God. And it's like, no. I may not know exactly which one of you are children of God, but I know that not all of you are. And I know that for a fact. It's those sort of things that you start to come to, be able to eat the meat, right, of the spirituality, solid food. You start to mature in your spirituality. You start to grow in your relationship with him because of your understanding, right? You start to understand him. When you start to understand someone, it's like you grow closer to them. Now you speak more with them. Now they can speak more with you on many different levels, right? And now it's more enjoyable. Now you enjoy this person's company because now you're agreeing and you're seeing what they see. And this just happened to be the Father, right? This is not just anybody. This is God that you're now being able to be close with. You're able to understand. That's what you strive for. Everything else is last, right? Money, status, friends, family. No. You put God first, right? And it's not because, oh, I'm supposed to. No. It's because he is everything. he knows all things. If I'm going to go to a teacher, I'm going to go to him. If I'm going to have a guidance counselor, I want it to be him. That's common sense, though. So, of course, if the verse says, put me first, is that a trick question? Why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I want to? But you also find in this world that you find that he is there, right? He's the only thing there. So it's not even that you had to put him first. It's just that he's just always been there for me. He's the first and the last thing, that I see. Excuse me. He's just the first and the last thing. The last person that I've known and will know. And it just keeps going. The truth of it. He's just there. And he'll always be there. Even when I'm alone. To still see he's there. So is that him being first? I guess so, yeah. He's first in my life. Because he's the only thing that remains. And then I can say I want him to be first. I need him to be first. But even if I didn't want him or need him to be first, he's still there. He's still there. So is it really a trick question when he says, put me first? Or you're going to put me first? I see, Father. I choose you to be first, Father. What fool would I be to not choose you? I'd be a fool. Right? To put my kids before you, put myself before you, put a person before you. What fool? I'm a fool. I'm a fool. How can man save me? How can I save me? Really? When there's a God that can save us all. Now, if there wasn't a God, then I'll put myself first and I say, well, me, have to save me. Like if there was no God, then yes, me. But there is a God. He can save me. He saves the world. He saves the soul. He destroys it. I don't. This God is a fair God. He knows my desires and he knows he's fair. He's not going to stray me to the left. He's going to stray me straight. He's going to keep me straight. Whatever it takes, right? Discipline, tough love, so be it. He's going to keep me. He's going to make sure I get there. But that's also what I need, right? I want those things. I want somebody that's going to make sure that I'm going to be okay because I don't know what's ahead. I still got to walk ahead, but I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. I have someone that says, don't worry about it. Don't stress yourself. Believe in me. Have faith in me. I said, yeah, Father, I allow you to take the lead. How foolish would I be if I didn't? How foolish. How foolish am I to say that I'm in control and I want to be of my future, of things I don't see, things I don't know. When there's a God, though. When I have a Father. And he's the creator of the world. When I'm not always in my right mind, right? When I'm asleep sometimes, how can I truly trust myself and think that I have my best interest or I know what's best for me when I don't even know what tomorrow is going to bring? I don't know people's intentions, but I'm going to allow my heart to guide me? No. No, no, no. I need God because he knows all those things. And if you would start to walk that way, you would see that when your heart is broken, it's not his fault. Is that you took it upon yourself to care, to love, to control it. If you allow your heart to control you, you're going to get hurt because not everyone has to feel the same way. Not everyone's going to act the same way. Not everyone's going to treat you the same way you treat them. There's nothing to be upset about if you would just allow God to lead you. It'd be much easier for you. It's not to say don't use your heart, but just that if you do use your heart, don't blame him for it. Understand first that there is a difference between controlling your life and controlling everything, and versus allowing him to lead. So for instance, you loving someone or choosing to open your heart, you can be open. Rush into things because of what you feel or what you think. Just wait. Allow God to lead. Ask your father of approval. He knows the heart of these people. He knows the intentions. So if things don't work out, you can't be mad at you. You can't be mad at him. Just know and be understanding of just what it is, the truth. That you just didn't know. You didn't know what was in these people's hearts. You didn't know their intentions, but you were open. You wanted to love. Okay. So that's what I mean. It's take your time, and if God is so much your father, then act like it. Talk to him. Talk to him about these people. Give it all to him. You talk about it to her, them, for what, right? You talk about it to these people oh my God, I met this person, whatever, right? When God could be one of those people. God, there's someone in my life, or I just met someone, and I'm going to meet up with them again. So, but if I shouldn't, let me know. Give me a sign, right? Not a sign, but for the way I would say it is, if it's not meant to be, or if, they're not good for me, they don't have good intentions, move them away from me, right? And that's pretty much it. I'm not saying give me a sign, but I'm obviously, stop it now, right? Just stop it now then. Because it's true. I don't know who this person is. I may be excited, I may be optimistic, but I'm too much mature and aware to be naive and think that, everything's gonna pan out because I'm leading the situation. No. That's the problem. I'm leading myself into something I don't know. No, I don't want to lead myself into that. I need God, my Father. Right? I don't need to ask all these questions who is this person? Da, da, da. No, Father, if this is not who I should be speaking with, dealing with, remove them from my life. Right? This could be the first day you meet them. That's it. And so when things fade away, when you no longer feel the urge to speak to this person, or the person's kind of slowing down, speaking with you, you don't question it. You know exactly what that is, and you let it be so until there's nothing. There's no more communication. That's the way I live my life. I don't question it. If someone's not speaking to me, right, if I haven't spoke to someone in months, you're deleted. I'm not asking questions. It's common sense. Those are the signs. If this person asks for your number, but they're not using it, what was the point? Delete them. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. Stop being so desperate for attention and just lead with your faith, your belief, and your integrity. Lead with that. Because the things that God has in store for me, right? The things that God has in store will come regardless. Why do I need someone that chooses not to use my number, though I gave it to them, right? Like using examples, like, why? It's not that serious. Goodbye. Goodbye. Right? Goodbye. And you don't have to say goodbye. You just delete them. Or if you find that you're changing your number, they ain't got it. And you ain't got to announce it, you know? That was the whole intent. You knew that you were getting a new number, right? And obviously you knew that you were only going to give the number to people that actually contact you. That's it. It's not that, oh, you like this person this much. It's just, no, this person actually contacts me. They say, hello, how you doing? They seem like a decent individual. Before you even can like them or get to know them more, you just know they deserve my number. This seems like a decent soul. So when I do get my ish together, we'll probably go and meet up. Like I don't mind meeting up with this person because they have decency about themselves. Okay? They're decent. They're actually a real person, They check in every once in a blue moon if you're going to have someone's number. I don't get how you can have hundreds of phone numbers and you only contact 2. That's the desperity I'm sensing, because it's like, why do you need all those other numbers? These other people, you don't even know them anymore, right? Or you don't even talk to them regularly. I'm not saying you got to talk to them every day or every 2 days. Common sense. Here's another thing, another sign too. If you don't feel comfortable texting a person, delete them. Like, I don't feel comfortable saying good morning. What? Delete. That means there's no spiritual connection. It's the same thing like if you feel like you're going to irritate someone. If you feel like if you say something to someone and it's going to irritate them, run. Run, walk, really. I was being funny, but yeah, like leave. Please, delete. You know what I'm saying? We've been there. Or every time, or at least, because this is preventative measures, but even still in the time frame, like in the real time of it, if you're with someone and every time you say something and it irritates them and they're not having a bad day, like no one died, they're not tired, you're not being foolish, you're just being you, and they're they're irritated, that's a sign. That's a sign, guys. And every time you talk, it's the same thing with every time you talk. Well, every time it's your time to talk, they don't want to hear it. And again, you're not foolish, because we don't do the foolishness. Hold your tongue. No. you're a decent individual, you know, you have an open heart, you're kind, you're being sweet to them. There's just many signs, right? For instance, if something happens, say you mess up, right? Or you just do something that they didn't approve of, or and approval just means, you know, it could be many little things. Like they may have said something to you and you didn't reply fast enough, or they didn't hear you say anything. So to them, they thought you ignored them, right? And so if you ever try to explain yourself, they don't want to hear it. Or they get very irritated because they just like, no, you know? That should tell you something. That should tell you that they're not giving you respect. Does it always mean they don't respect you? No, not necessarily. But they dang sure don't respect you in that moment. They're not giving you that respect today. And that ain't right? Like that's just not right. Like what's the issue, right? Because that tells me you're not communicating well. So let's hope it's just this one day, not every day, because then that's a whole different thing where it's like, why are you having bad communication? Why can't you communicate with me? And why can't I communicate back with you? But that's the thing. Why do we even have to have this discussion? Delete. Run. I ain't got time for it. Just like most men, they don't like the naggy, talky, you know, like they'd rather just make up and that's it, right? They don't like to just linger on it. We like to know, understand, get deep. That's just who we are, right? But most men, they naturally would like to just like make things right and just leave it alone after that. Losing my thought. But let's not get that twisted with them, with someone trying to, you know, make up, you know. With a person that is just not trying to hear you, you know? So you have to find and see the difference in that. And you should be able to, by, you know, how you feel and the senses around it. You know, when someone's just trying to make up and be, you know, then they'll just say, you know, okay, honey, like, you know, I got it. Like, let's not fight. I don't want to fight with you. I don't want to argue. Let's not argue no more. Or you done said it like 1,500 times. I get it now. You don't have to interpret it again, you know? Because, you know, we like to break it down again and again. Almost like we want to hear ourselves talk. Yeah, well, we like talking too. So that's a difference. That's the difference. It's like, okay, we can accept that because we know we doing the most right now. Versus someone like, look. I don't want to hear it. And I said, I haven't even started. I haven't even said my conclusion. I haven't even said how I feel. Any of those things. They're like, I don't want to hear it. Like, I'm over it. Over what? You know, that's the thing. It's like they can say they're over it, and it's you're thinking like, over what? The relationship? They're like, no, just this discussion. And then that's when you're just like, no, we could be over this relationship then. Because how are you going to end the discussion when it takes two? Like, who are you? Like, who are you to end the conversation before it started? It's called communication. That's the difference. You're not trying to communicate. And there's not going to be a relationship if that can't happen. So we can end this relationship. I think that's what you really want to say. Because if you already ending our communication, then let me help you out, since some men don't like to speak up. Some men, you know? And it's like, okay. And in other cases, you could just silently leave. And I'm sure they won't even say anything because that's really what they wanted. You know? So get the hints, get the signs. When a man, not even a man, but when a person is silent, you know, the first thing you want to do is understand and be like, what's wrong? What do we do? Like, is this a little, you know, second nature? That's the heart. But you know what? We got our mind right. We got our freaking mind right. You know what we doing? We walking out that door. How about that? This isn't teenage silent treatment. Mother-daughter silent treatment. This is grown man, grown woman, we in a relationship. We in some sort of relationship. Silent treatment? No, sir. Bye. Bye. Because it's like, you don't want to be mature? Okay. You know how that's going to pan out, right? It's going to be like a week later, 2 weeks later, silence. Still silence? You're in this house, still silent? Okay. 4 weeks later, still silent? Okay, still silent. Okay. That energy is rough. You ever had that sort of energy with your parents or your guardians? That's rough. You know, everything is cold-blooded. You silent, they not cooking for you, you not cooking for them. They leaving without telling you, they doing all these things. Bye. All right, well, you just pack your bags then. You see that? Like, just leave. I'm gonna leave. Matter of fact, I won't even tell you. That's part of the silent treatment. You'll know when you don't see me. Because you didn't want to hear me, so there was no point in telling you. You will see. How about that? You see how that makes sense? If we're gonna do the silent treatment, they ain't know us. They ain't know us. That's the communication. That is the communication. Listen, there's a right way to do it. In the right way, if I had to be lenient and understanding or put myself in someone's shoes, I would say, okay, well, communicate that. Say, listen, I need some time away. Okay. And so usually it'd probably be best to like have separate places in your home. If you guys live together, you better have a big enough place to where, you know, you guys don't have to be in close proximity, because he just said he wants some time away. He shouldn't have to leave the house if he lives here. He still got to bathe his butt. He still got to rest. He should just be able to go into another room. But at least you guys understand what's going on. It's just like someone saying, oh, I need a break. But don't say that, okay? Don't say that, because then it's like, what does that really mean, right? But if you say, okay, I need some time, like time to think, yeah, I don't need you around, without you around, without me hearing what you have to think. I need to hear my own thoughts. In order for that, leave the person alone. They have to be in isolation. They have to be alone for that. And that's why when you live with them, you have to make sure you give the person their own space. So if you're just like crowded in one room, that ain't gonna work. You're gonna find him in the car. You're gonna find him leaving all the time. Or you're gonna find yourself leaving. Because you're trying to get away. Can I get away for a second? Right? And there shouldn't be no where you going. Shut up. That's the whole point. Trying to get away. Like, can I just be? Can I just be? And that opens up that door. Who do you think you are to like question people in a way where it's like they owe you, like you own them? If they want to leave, let them leave, because they're going to. They're going to. So it's just best to just shut up. You know, you've heard be quiet all your lives. When Granny said, don't say shut up, say be quiet. Okay, but these people need to shut up. because they're not being quiet. Just shut up and listen. That's the only time they really respect you, when you talk to them a certain way for some reason. Just hard-headed. Just hard-headed. Who do you think you are? I already know, because I'm a free spirit. I'm going to do what I want when I want to do it. But best believe it's going to be good intent. I'm not going to cheat. I'm not going to be in someone's face. No, I'm going to breathe. I like to go and go. I like to wander, you know? I like to be a free spirit. You know, I don't want to be cooped up in the house. That's not me. I only do it because it's isolation, right? I do it because I study here in this place. But if I'm with someone, if I live with someone, if I'm with my family, you're not going to find me just like cooped up. No. And I'm not going to be telling people where I got to go, when I got to go. No, I'm my own person. I'm grown. I get his courtesy, but again, I don't owe you nothing. That's it. Take it how you want to take it. But that's where it's like, whatever works in your relationship. Here in Allie's world, this is how we do it, okay? In Allie's home, this is how we do it. We don't do labels. We don't do titles. I am who I am to you. That's it. There's no validation. We don't have to prove nothing. Everything is solid. So it's like, if this person's like, oh, I need to go out for a while. Okay. And if he wants to tell me where, he can. And if I want to ask, maybe I can. But do I feel I need to? No. Because he can do what he want to do. You know why? Because he's solid. Okay? And because we're solid. But if you're not solid, then dang. That's something else, isn't it? Yeah. When you open that door, you have a whole lot of questions for the person. Where were you? What took you so long? Why were you out so late? Why do you smell like that? What's on your shirt? Why are you talking funny? Why are you acting funny? All this, shut up. You can see why it will drive a person away. There's a difference between talky and tooky. Which one am I? I can't even say that. I'm a talky. And then it could be a tooky, because then I can say unnecessary things. So that's my point. It's like, there's a difference between you being a talkative person and, you know, and you being you. And I'm sure the person will love you for you, right? That's what makes you you. You know, that's what makes you exciting. It's like, you know, all the wondrous things that is inside of you, inside of me. So there's that. And then there's, why'd you do this and why'd you do that and I can't, and you can't, and you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that. Like, whoa. Then there's that ownership, that entitled part of you. And it's like, no, the only person you're responsible for is yourself. And if you have kids, worry about your kids. That's where it's like, put your kids first and then your husband second. That's when you can say that, because it's like, this is a grown man. Excuse me. Not even a grown man. This is like an adult. Okay? Period. He's not even just a man. He's an adult. He's his own person. His mother don't even tell him what to do. Let him figure it out himself. He's capable. I'm sure he is. He's a provider. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He protects us. Yes, I'm sure he's capable. Okay? I'm sure he has decent sense. I'm sure if he goes to work and gets to it. Okay? I'm sure he's somebody if he's dating you. Okay? He's dating Alize. Oh, yeah. He definitely has common sense. Duh. So why do you think you would have to be like, so why'd you go here? And why are you doing this? And what took you so long? Are you kidding me? Back. Okay? Back, ma'am. You're doing the most. You don't have to do that. Trust me. You don't have to hear it from the men. Hear it from your sis, okay? Hear it from auntie. Hear it from auntie. And auntie's a talky. But I'm not going to be naggy, because I don't want nobody nagging me. You understand me? You don't want to be a hypocrite, okay? You don't want people telling you what to do when they want to do it. No, you want to do things when you want to do it. Okay, well, how about they're going to do what they want to do when they want to do too? And you can't even get mad at that. And once you get mad at that, that takes away your freedom, because then they're going to say, well, you can't do that then. If you want me to tell you everywhere I go, then you have to tell me everywhere you go. There it is. There it is. Fair is fair, isn't it? That's equal. Ain't nobody higher, ain't nobody the king, and then everybody else the servant. Like, oh, he's the one that tells us what to do, and we never question him. Are you kidding me? Not in Allie's home. Not in Allie's home. We are not servants. We are equals. You seen the movie Equal? Yeah. Love it. So, when we keep going, I like to go, duh. It ain't because I'm still young and tender. Okay? Young and tender. It ain't just because I'm young and tender that I like to go and be a free spirit. No, that's who I am. Okay? And I'm going to stay that way. Doesn't matter if I'm older. Okay? And I'm still going to be tender, but older. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I get a man. Get a man, girl. Get a man. It doesn't matter. When God blesses me with my other half. It doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter if I have a friend. It doesn't matter. It doesn't change. You know why? Because whatever works for you works for you. Don't let societal normalities that they claim to be normal be your life. Be what works in your home. Be what you do for your man. Hell no. No, because it won't be original to you. Just be you. And if he likes you for you, that's what's going to keep him liking you for you. How about that? Don't change up. And the way to not change up is just to be you. If you're being something that you're not, you're going to change. As hard as you don't want to, you will, because it's not solid. In order to know your fate is to be yourself. To know that you're on solid ground. If you start your relationship very truthful, you can see the fate of it. You can see you can have some sort of control in it, right? Where it's like, okay, things started off truthful and original. So it's definitely going in a straight direction. That's for sure. All these rules, it's cool. Because again, I talked about this in my last live. Some people like their life that way. Rules and regulations, But for me, I'm telling you everything. Goodness. For me, that's like kinky stuff to me. The only time you're ever going to hear me give somebody some rules or regulations is if I'm speaking very spicy to them. Other than that, there should not be any rules, my guy. What's the rule? To tell you where I'm going everywhere I leave this house? Why? Obviously, the basic part is, because of your safety. But I was living my life free, just like this, way before this, right? No, I get it. Now I'm living with someone, but that's not, you're missing my point. You said for safety. I was safe then. I will still be safe now. Why? Because God covers me. But they don't want to hear that because they say, well, you have me though. You have me now. And I said, I get that. But just let me be, okay? Because to someone that is free, a free spirit, it does seem suffocating. Just like a man can say, "Oh, you're suffocating me. You're always nagging me." It's the same thing. It's just your perspective. You have to look at it, and if you've never been that person that since freedom or had sort of a free spirit, I guess that's why you don't see it this way. If you're a person that likes to be clingy and be just up under someone, and here's the thing, you can be up under someone, but there's time to be your own individual, right? And that's the thing. It's like, that, but you're just choosing to be controlling. That's the thing. Because it's like, I could be up under someone, or you could seem clingy to someone, but there's still the difference between controlling someone. You could be up under them until they gotta go, right? Until they need to do their own thing. Don't be controlling, though. Once they're in, you got them. But once they're out, leave them alone. Like, please, leave them alone. And it is a maturity thing, right? It is. Because when we're little, the younger we are, the more clingy we are, the more needy, right? The more attention we need. Of course. That's nature. The approval and all of that. But when we get older, why we start to fend for ourselves, we start to have no choice but to be by ourselves, to where it naturally trains us. So us being clingy or needy is not as necessary anymore. Like, it's not strong. It's like, oh, I can do this. Oh, I can sleep alone. Oh, I can be by myself. Oh, I can live alone, mommy. It's like, I've been alone. I don't need you to come anymore. I don't need to call you as much. It's those sort of things. Okay? And then, so I want to touch on that, because I also know that, naturally, when someone comes along, we naturally get that sort of like dependency, right? It's like, oh, they're here now. So it's like access. Once that door is open, it's open. And it's like, okay, I want you to come over. I want you to come over. I want you to come over. I want you to come over, right? And then you find yourself having to balance that. Like, okay, what's healthy and what's not healthy? Well, it's evident that it's not healthy to, start to attach myself to this person in a dependency way. Right? And not forget yourself, not forget your strength. Like, you're okay. It's something that you have to do optionally. Like, okay, I need to take time for myself. I want you to come over, and I know you can come over because the door's open, but I need to close it. They're going to be like, why? Like, what happened? It's not you, boo. So that's why it's easy. It's so necessary to, communicate this with someone that you care for and cares for you, because they don't understand. And someone that's mature, okay? Keyword, mature, okay? Mature. Because most likely they've already been through this, or they know exactly what you mean, or they feel the same way, okay? They're mature. They're older. Yes, we love them. We love mature. We love a mature man. Yes. You see how that doesn't look like nothing? It's just like, it has nothing to do with the physicality. It's who they are. It's their character. It's so sexy, right? It's those things. Maturity. You have to deal with someone mature, because they'll understand. They'll feel the same way. They feel the necessity. Like, yeah, let me handle some things. Before this, you guys were just 24/7. I'm coming to meet you. I'm coming to see you. What you want to do? Let's do this. Let's do that. Like, up under each other, which is usually what they call the honeymoon stage. But baby, we don't do honeymoon stages. See, we don't do that. because they call it a stage. There ain't no stage. Okay. Anyway, back to what I was saying. You know, you're seeing this person, you know, and not that you're taking a break because, oh, you don't want it to be a stage. It's not going to be a stage if it's me. Come on now, stop it. Humbly speaking, but for real, like, what are you talking about? It's who you're with. That's why it's a stage. You know what I'm saying? You never really liked this person, or this person was never who they say they were, or they're changing. You're not just with you're just not with, you don't find just solid people. Excuse me. You don't find solid people just every day. So that's the issue. Okay? Yeah, you know, it's like someone trying to figure out why is it only a stage? It's like, you don't know? You don't know? Maybe because you're boring. Hey, I'm just a messenger. Maybe there's something wrong with you, you know, or that person. Like, because isn't that what it is? It's like, oh, you know, it's a stage. Why? Because things got boring? Maybe because you're boring. You know, and here's the thing. It opens up that door to where it's like, dang, I have to explain everything. Maybe you're boring because, like, you just aren't their cup of tea. You know what I mean? Because people, here's the thing. People will try to do the most. And that's why it doesn't last, because it's like you were being something that you weren't. You can't hold up to that. If you're a boring person to that person, and that's the thing, I'm not saying you're boring. I'm just saying to that person. So if you're boring to that person, baby, you just are, and move on. That's the reason why it's not working, honey. I'm not, you know, for a second I feel like they thought I was calm and boring. No, honey, they said you were. So I'm saying you're boring. And so now you're trying to compensate for it by trying to do all these things, trying to look at certain videos, trying to copy someone else, you know, what they have. But you know that's not your baseline, honey. And there's people out there that love who you are, right? Like, they love that little mellowness, okay? They love a little mellow girl. They love a little mellow gal, you know? Because maybe their baseline is like very energetic, you know, very high paced. So of course that sort of opposite attracts. You know, you need your calm. We need our calm, you know, and we need that electricity. We need that electric, you know. That would be me. That's people like me, you know. You need that spark. But that's what I'm saying, okay? It's a stage because you're not enough for them. And there are people, you're right, there are people that nothing will ever be enough for them because there's something wrong with them and they need to figure out what's wrong with them. Maybe they don't like what they thought they liked. I don't know, okay? That's a whole different door. You know, and when it comes to them, they need to talk, they need a therapist. They don't need me. You know, and not even a therapist. They need to talk with God. Talk with themselves. You hear me? I'm not even going to open that door because that door is not for me to open. You know, that's when you start figuring out your man is hobo or your man is down low. That's not a door I'm supposed to open. That ain't my problem. That ain't my issue. That ain't even in my pay grade. Like, that's not even, please. That doesn't make sense to me. That should be something they should have handled a long time ago instead of jumping into a relationship with you knowing they ain't right. You understand me? That's a Grim Reaper. That person is not real. Now, all these other doors I'll open. Let's flow to and fro through them. But that door is abominable, okay? That is in Satan's territory. Listen. Okay? That door has been marked already. That is not my door to open. Now, had to get that across because So that's pretty much it, But I like to milk things, of course. But that is it, That is it. Trying to, well, not trying, but I'm exposing myself and all the things in my life, who I am, my home, my book, my secrets, my desires, And that's the thing, it's like, it shouldn't be necessary for me to. It has come to this, but for good reason. Like, by me exposing these things, it now gives you sort of the cheat code, because no one taught me these things. Why do people have to teach you these things? Or why do you have to look to someone else's life and then you see, that's my point, try to mimic that? If this is not you, then you need to talk to God, right? Like, if you can't consciously come to this, like, this place, sorry, when you can't come to this conscious place of what is decent for yourself, right? Like all these things we're talking about, how a man should treat you, like what path is straight. If that's something that you find confusing, I don't know how that feels. Like, I don't know. In my eyes, it's more of, there's many paths, but I still know the straight path, right? And I know that if I go into other paths, then I will be confused. But I know the right path. I know what I should be doing. I know how I should be treated, what I need. And maybe sometimes I feel like most people should know that, but I have to think outside of the box and say, some people, I guess, don't know what's best for them. I don't know. I don't like to speak on that because it's sort of weird. it's sort of odd. I don't know. That's above that. That's below my pay grade too. I sort of just speak straight. We know what's best for us. We should. Abuse. And that's the thing. I know that I'm right about that. Now, I know there are people that can be confused because, love and, loving someone, but even still, they still should know what's right. Like, I still have to do the right thing, though. Like, I still need to get out of here. I still need to get away from this person, though. So it's not that I'm not even going to confuse myself and say I don't know. Or I don't, see, I'm confusing myself now. Anyway, so that's pretty much really all it's about. Just, who do you want to be? And if that's who you want to be, then allow the other person to be who they want to be as well. That's it. And see how life is. See how your home, gets brighter. Allow people to be themselves, right? Them godly selves at that. Anything outside of that is Satan's territory. Being themselves, being like all sorts of abominable things. That's not godly. And that way leads to death and sickness and disease. High chances. Very high chances. And again, remember, that other door where those people are confused and maybe down low, messing with all sort of things, bestiality, again, leads to death and disease. And so, again, with those people choosing to be in relationships with certain people that they really don't like, and now they give them death and diseases, that's the reason. So that's why I don't even want to touch that door, because it's not my door to open. I just want to touch on in the godly house, right? We're in a godly house. We're godly people, godly imperfect people, but we're godly. and we have godly standards, very high standards for ourselves. And godly just means infinite light, okay? Everything is up. Everything is harmony. Everything is free in the natural way between a man and a woman. And allow this man to be a man, allow the woman to be a woman, allow him to think, feel, be as he is, and so the woman. If he wants to go out, please go, because I'm gonna go out too. You feel me? And it ain't no tit for tat thing. It's just you get to live your life outside of me just as we live our life together, because you had a life before me and you will always have a life with me. It never stops. It never stops. That's the excitement of one's life, not just together, just your existence. You look forward to it because you get to live life. How about that? Everything other than that is death, okay? Because it's going to lead to destruction, you know, and that's where you find those sort of couples or people or in those places where there's toxic. All you hear is them arguing, you know, controlling each other, jealousy. And it's like, why is there jealousy? Oh, because there's insecurity. Why is there insecurity? Because they didn't give themselves time to heal, to prepare themselves for whatever's coming, right? A relationship, marriage, whatever, right? You want to get your mind right, get your mind right. You want to get your body right, get your body right. Us women, we're insecure about certain things like that. Okay, well, if you're not ready, get your body right so that he could show you off. So you could show off, you know? You could be well, not show off, but you can show yourself as you like, okay? You won't be jealous because you look good. You feel good. That's it. That is it. If you were confident, it would show. You wouldn't worry about no one else. And if this is a godly man, he's not going to cheat on you. He's going to tell you, I no longer want to be with you. He's going to do it the right way. Why cheat when you could just tell the person and leave? We're not dealing with a hobo. I'm sure this man is well off. He don't need to go behind anyone's back. That's it. Keeping an open, truthful relationship. Things are not working out. Okay, great. Because would you want that person to cheat on you? There's someone, do you know there's someone in the background that would say, I'd prefer him to cheat than to tell me. Because I just want to be with this man. Oh my God, I just want to be with him. You're just, I'm sick of you. You're pathetic. That's pathetic. That's the definition of pathetic. Girl, where is your security? There is someone in the back that will say, I would rather for him to cheat on me than for him to break up with me. Why? Because I'm so insecure, I'm sure. We knew that when you said it. You spoke it. So you need to work on yourself, and we actually do need to end this relationship. It will be terminated because now it's in the hands of the courts and you're not stable, okay? You're not stable for yourself. So you're not going to be stable for anything, anyone, any relationship, because you're in a relationship and you're now about to destroy yourself, okay? And we love you. So this relationship will end. Run, brother, run. This will end and you will come with us and you will work on yourself, okay? You will work on your confidence, whatever your insecurities are, because it's possible. Believe in yourself. Believe, right? We're going to work on our weight. We're going to work on our muscles, and we're going to work on our inner strength. We're going to work on our natural beauty. We're going to work on accepting our skin tone, right? We're going to work on those things, okay? without a man. It's okay. You'll be all right. Dang. I never had a father. Okay, well, it's okay. I didn't have a father figure biologically neither, but I'm all right. Take it from someone that is, you know, in the same boat. Okay, trust me. Come on. Come on, girl. You'll be all right. So, yeah. Yeah. Things could be so simple, but it does take two. And if neither one of you guys are peace, have it in your heart, have it in your mind, want peace, it's not going to be there. Maybe one person tries, but the other person isn't. And that's tough too, because it's like you want to like this person. So you try to make this person into somebody. No, brother. No, it's not going to work. You say, look, you find me when you're ready. You know, but I can't wait for that. I can't. Like, you have to do that work for yourself. You know, you can buy people this and that all day, right? You could take someone out all day to eat, but you can't, like, give them confidence. They have to believe in themselves. They have to know that they're enough. You know? So that's why it's so important to, like, do the work before you even get into committed relationships. Any sort of relationship. It doesn't mean a relationship between a man and a woman. It just means, like, any sort of relationship with a person. Because you want to be secure in who you are. That's why there's jealousy between friends or girls. You know, there's a lot of jealousy there because there's a lot of insecurity. And most of the time with women, you know, we always overthinking things. So I think that's what makes us so catty and rival. There's so much rivalry with females because we're always overthinking things. We're always, you know, harsh critics, you know, and so we're just harsh critics to each other. And we take that out on each other, you know, because of things maybe we're insecure about, things we overthink about ourselves, things of that nature. It's just the way, you know, women are, that we need to, instead of using who we are as like a weakness and as a bad thing, we need to use it as empowerment. We need to, like, use the power we have, you know, in our emotions for the best of us, in a way where, you know, there's security. You know, and once that happens, we're powerful. And I was speaking about this the other day. Well, I wasn't speaking about it. I was thinking about it. How, like, you know, in certain communities, you know, us Black people, the only thing wrong with us is our insecurity. But we're powerful. And everyone knows that. And I say everyone. Everyone knows how powerful we are. But what holds us back is our insecurity. And it shows in our fruits. Like, I mean, this is a whole nother door. Not every Black person is like this. That's the disclaimer. Not every Black woman is like this. But there are the ones, they call it Black fatigue. You know what I'm about to say. You know, certain Black people insecurity shows so much on the surface that it just spoils it for the rest of us sometimes. Or at least that's just what we've seen. So we kind of, like, in the community where we take on those mannerisms. But yeah, like, you're very loud and, like, what's the word? You're just very loud with everything, you know, and it could be great when it's loud and joyful. But when it's, like, you know, getting upset about something, you're loud. You're loud. And you could just be like, yo, when I get home, you're done for. But no, the mannerism goes out the door. That doesn't have to be a Black thing. But most people kind of know their place in society where you don't care. And that's why you take the fall for it, because out of all communities, you're the bold ones. Like, it's very bold to do that, but it's also very like rude and aggressive, and it shouldn't be tolerated. And I guess because the community, that's what we've seen, we do it, right? You kids see it, they do it. It ain't funny. It was a mechanism. But that's just one example. There's many, but being very loud. You don't have to be loud, honey. And that's where the insecurity comes from. It's like, what are you trying to prove? We see you. Is it because you are black that you feel you got to be you got to be loud? You don't have to be. Okay? The quietest ones are that saying. It doesn't take you to be loud for people to see you. It doesn't take you to be loud for you to seem confident. It's going to actually be the opposite. So that is why certain communities, they don't look at you as rivals, because it's like you tell on yourself. You tell on yourself and it looks insecure. You're very powerful people though. Very strong. Like, you'd be perfect. Like, in God's eyes, you are perfect, but you mess it up for yourselves by like your insecurities, your pride. You're always gonna lose. You're always gonna be last if you keep with that. And I get it. We've been born into those families. We've been, our mothers are black. Our fathers is black. Like, this is what our community's like, right? They don't have to be this way, but it ain't their necessary, like, it ain't their fault, but it is some sort of accountability if we're the new adults, right? And it's like, I don't gotta be loud though, right? Or you find that you're not loud, but everyone else is, and it's like, well, I don't have to be that way. And you love your people, so it's like, let me just educate them instead of hearing it from another community, right? Because we're not gonna take it well. Okay? You ain't even gonna like it when we say it, because you're gonna look at us like we trying to be something that we're not. But it's like, no, hear us out. Because even in our community, we don't like to talk about stuff. We don't. And that's another thing that's gonna keep us last, keep us losing. It's the arrogance in the black community. And every community has their own ish, but we're talking about, can we stick to our business? Can we mind our own business for once? That's the issue. You always worry about somebody else. Take accountability. Take accountability. And I think it comes from black people being very proud. And that could be a very proactive thing about us, but it can also be the devastation part that can destroy us. You could be so proud that when it comes to constructive criticism, you don't want to hear it. Just because it's criticism, but it's constructive though. Key word, did you miss that? It's constructive. But you heard the word criticism, you said hell to the no. You can't hate but love the black community. But we need improvement badly. We need it. We need some tender love and care. Bod. Very bod. Very bod. And there's things that the world's already putting out for it to be against us and for us to be against each other. And then there's things that we're doing to one another. There's things that we're not working on in ourselves to better ourselves. There's already things already against us. Make it hard for us. So you need a black sheep in your family. You need, auntie. You need Auntie Allie, because I'm not going to be that person that's going to let great grandfather talk to us any which way because he's just old fashioned. Oh, because that's just the way. No, that's just what it's been, honey. You know, and it takes for you to mature because, again, auntie's not 18, auntie's 31. So now I'm an adult grandpa. It's not a child talking to an adult. I'm an adult now, grandpa. I've seen the word. I know the word. I know something. Okay. I don't need to have a degree to talk to you. I know. You can be the way you want to be, but you're not going to be that way to me. Okay. You're not going to talk to me any which way just because of your status or your respect. Everyone has respect for you because you're the elder. In order to be an elder, you need to hold wisdom. You need to give it. And this is not it. What I'm trying to convey to you is such wisdom. And you don't want to partake in it. You don't want to hear me out. Your arrogance, your pride. So be it. If you don't want to hear me, I'm not gonna force you. But what you will know is that I, out of everyone in this family, has stood up to speak out against it. Speak up for it, because it ain't right. And it stops here. It stops here. And there, right there, you guys, you see the generational curse broken. It stops here. I'm going to say something. I have to do something about it. All that family, all that title, all that entitlement, trash. Throw it away. Throw it away. Sit down. Just sit down somewhere. Because it ain't going to work here. It ain't going to work in me. And it's not going through. It's not going to go through me. It's not going to continue in me. It stops right here. Stop with the pride. Stop it. Because you're keeping yourself behind. You don't have to be so arrogant. You don't have to be so loud. You don't have to be filled with nonsense. You don't want to know the truth. You don't want to know. You don't want to listen to it. You don't want to hear it. You don't want to know what's out there. You need to, though. Why you want to stay oblivious? Why you want to stay naive? How is that growing, Grandpa? No, it's just the new age, just the new world. I don't need to worry about it. What do you mean? You need to fix your attitude. You need to fix your tone. Just because you're older doesn't make it okay. You were this way when you were just in your 20s, when you were tenderoni. You were still this way, arrogant. You're just older now. You didn't learn. But I'm supposed to respect you and listen to you because of what? Listen to your arrogance because you're older now? If I wouldn't listen to it in your 20s, if I wouldn't listen to your arrogance in your younger years, why would I listen to it now in your older years? What's the difference? Nothing should make me conform to it if it's not right. And that's what you got everyone in this family thinking that, oh, Grandpa's old. That's just the way he is. No, that's what he has chosen to be. He has chosen not to grow. The body's just old. That's the only thing that has changed. His face, his skin, just a bit wrinkly. Yeah. Right? Oh, don't talk to Grandpa like that because he's sick. Well, the body's temporary, but his spirit's still willing. He's still in there. He still knows right from wrong. He's just arrogant. Oh, Grandpa has Alzheimer's. He doesn't remember. I'm sure he doesn't. How lucky is he? Because of the things that he has done. Now the disease done took his mind. Yeah, but it still doesn't shield him from judgment. He will be judged. And though he may not remember right now, but in the face of God, when all of this disease and sickness and flesh goes away, he still will remain. So this is just a preview. That so be it. Grandpa has Alzheimer's. Grandpa is old. Okay, I'll leave him alone. But just know, he knows that I know. And even if he don't know on the surface, his spirit does. His spirit has bear witness. It stops here. It stops here. But this is what your children's children is looking up to. This is what your children's children hearing. This is what they're learning. Please, stuck in the past. And I'm old-fashioned, but this right here will not go past me. Like, I'm old-fashioned in some ways, but in the natural ways, like the sun being sunny and the sky being blue, shouldn't be green. You know, if the that sort of old-fashioned, like the sun is supposed to be bright. That's how it used to be, you know. The sky used to be blue. That's how it needs to be, you know. But all this arrogance and, you know, when it comes to a person's character and entitlement, I'm not having it. I've never taken disrespect. I'm never going to. It doesn't matter who you are. That is why you become that black sheep. You become it when you're 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 30, 31, 30. You are what breaks the generational curse. Because clearly it's a generational thing, is it not? And it's a curse because it's keeping you stuck. It's keeping you in darkness. It's keeping you least. It's keeping you the problem in the world. Like, yeah, there's a big problem with the people and how they treat you, but there's also a big problem with you. And maybe it's because of certain things, but you still have the opportunity to change it, to overcome it, break through. You still have the choice to, you know, release that anger. You have a choice to now soften your heart. We understand the wall. We understand. But it's time to let it down. It's a new generation, like you say. It's new people. Why are you giving them that same energy? We're trying to love you. We're trying to care for you. We're trying to talk to you. We're trying to understand you. And you got this wall up still because of things that may have happened. Understanding. But those people will get judgment. And if you keep if your heart is still hardened, you will be facing judgment too. Because it has prevented you from being the leader that you're supposed to be. It has prevented you to be the man that you're supposed to be for the family. Please, please, we need you. We need you. We don't need your pride. We don't need your arrogance. We need you. Now, would you get that from a therapist? Would you get that from a psychologist, a psychiatrist? Would you get that from a psychiatrist? There we go. Would you get that from them? Or would you get it from someone that's among you? Someone in your family, someone that loves you, knows you, is one of you. I've had enough. So yes, it is disgusting and, you know, embarrassing to watch certain Black Americans, whatever they want to call themselves, African, whatever, Black people, Black, you know, it's very embarrassing to watch their ways, you know, some of their ways. It's embarrassing. And then you see how their children is following after their footsteps. And that's embarrassing. Because you know exactly what their fate's going to be. Most likely. If they don't overcome it, you know, or see a better life or a better leader, you know, if they don't have a better leadership. It's possible to be in an environment and not become it. It's possible to be in the city of rats and not be a rat. It is possible. It's just a bit harder, it's just a bit cloudier, foggier, because this is your environment and it's easy to be influenced. It's easy to only see what you see or know what you know because this is all that you've been in. But you're still an individual and you still have your own sense of individuality. And so I know that for a fact because I'm me. Yeah, there's things that I pick up. I'm human. I can pick it up from this community. I can pick up anything. But I know that I still have my own sense of originality, regardless. Just like I have my own original voice. But I can adapt. I can try to speak in a certain accent, but I still have my own voice. I still have my own thoughts in my mind. I still like what I like and don't like what I don't like. It's just a bit harder, Like it takes more when you're in an environment that is so easily influenced and programmed because they, make sure that programs are programming in these places, right? Every corner, there's things that will influence them. And not for the better, If they plant these stores that only hold weaves, synthetic hair, they plant it in certain communities. Does that not influence, young women to go there and put fake hair in their hair? Wear fake hair? Wear not their hair? So yeah, it's like, you seeing all these things. It's so easy. They make it convenient. They say everything's $1 in this store. Everything's fake though. And then you find it's like, oh, I can try it. I can do it. I can, but then it's like, but I don't also have to. And you'll be the different one. You'll be, it'll be a little tougher for you. But it's still possible. And that's what stands out, you. And you stand out here, you stand out up there. That's what makes you the black sheep. You have to persevere. And I was